always, by the wonderful Frank Todaro. Frank, are you there, sir?
Yes, Andrew. I don't know if we're on the air. I don't know what's going on.
Frank, UCY told us we're just on the air.
We're on the air?
Yep, UCY just told us we're on the air.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because it said UCY Radio is on the call.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
All right, good. Well, why don't you check on yeah, see, UCY TV is online. Yeah, then we're not add to group call. We're not on.
Frank, we're fine. It says UCY is on the call. I see him right here.
Really?
Yes, Frank.
Go. Why don't you go on? Why don't you go on the?
Want me to go on the UCY thing?
Yeah. Now, see, yeah. Now we're getting. See. Oh boy.
Frank, you're going crazy again.
Okay. I hear us. Okay, very good. we can never get it right. And now this time it's not your fault. It's not my fault. The call just dropped. I don't understand why.
Well, because before you called, I was adding a story about Trump and the teleprompter.
Listen. I don't feel too good this week, and I can't get too upset. All right, so I don't know what to do with all this technical difficulties. I'm sick and tired of it every week.
Well, thank goodness I added an important Trump story tonight. That's all I care about.
You added an important Trump story. Yeah. What is going on in the news, Andrew? It's every day. I'm getting more and more disillusioned with these news reports. Now, again, like we said last week. What's so funny?
Because you're going out of your mind in the news cycle this week.
Yeah, no. It's just I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. I'm just becoming disillusioned with these news reports. It's everything. No matter where you go or what you read, where it comes from, it's all garbage. And now the big thing, like I said last week, is now sexual harassment accusations against media figures, politicians, and everybody. So, as the big story today was, Matt Lauer got fired this morning.
Yes, and in a stunning turn of events, that's what we will talk about tonight at 8:30.
We're going to talk about it now.
Well, I mean, I will read the headline in our teleprompter.
We'll talk about it in the news. Yeah, we'll go over the story, the official story in the news. But I'm talking about, and I'm trying to tell you that. Don't you see every week, every day, almost now in the last since the Harvey Weinstein thing broke out? Now all of a sudden, everybody's getting accused.
Of course, everybody's getting accused.
Congressmen, senators, politicians.
Make mistakes.
I mean, what if tomorrow someone at your job accuses you?
First of all,
nobody's going to.
I've been with Norfolk Health for 2 years. I have not been accused of anything like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you're not understanding me. Can now anybody? What if this is all just like a setup? I mean, my point is, how come all these people have been in their positions for years and years and years and years, or now all of a sudden all these people are getting brave and coming out and accusing these people?
Honestly, I think now our media is telling us that they're doing it in retrospect to distract us from Trump. I think that's how I think this is why it's happening now.
Trump. Listen, look, I'm reading here. Matt Lauer was the host of the Today Show. He's the host of the Today Show he was from 1997 to 2017. That's 20 years. You mean to tell me what? Just last month he started showing his penis to people?
Well, I was going to have a Matt Lauer soundbite ready tonight, but due to the retrospect of the story just breaking, we'll save it for next week.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter this morning. Who's that woman? His co-host "Oh my God, we have sad news," and she started almost crying, and they couldn't believe that their colleague and this and that. But then just hours later, it comes out that there was always rumors and rumors and rumors. So don't you see? There's a pattern. There's always rumors. It comes out of the blue, accusations, and then everybody comes out and says, "Oh well, we knew about it for years and years." Come on, give me a break. This is crazy. And then who's that other politician? Kanye? What's his name?
Oh, you mean Connor?
Kanye, I think his name is. Yeah, and now they're saying that now if something's not right because this is what I'm reading. That's hold on, I got it right here. It says that Kanye, of course, he's Republican Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. He's saying that now something's wrong because all the women are whites. All the accusers are whites. So what does that mean? Are you kidding me? They have to be diverse now. You have to have a mix.
This is why the "That's Racist" kid soundbite needs to be implemented.
Unbelievable. I told you last week. Now because the progressive left liberals destroyed the meaning of racism or racist, so now they can't use that anymore to attack people. So now the new attack weapon is to destroy somebody's life and career is sexual harassment. Now listen, I'm not saying none of this is true, or I'm not saying not to take it serious. Like I said it last week when you were off the air, I do take all these sexual harassments and sexual assaults serious. Andrew, I don't know if I told you that's going to be my field of study to go in human resources. So I'm going to have to deal with this stuff. Of course.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you're going to go into human resources, say someone made you feel uncomfortable about, keep showing me your feet, right? Randomly, they call it foot fetish. Would you take that accusation seriously if somebody considered it harassment?
First of all, yeah, somebody has to make a complaint to human resources, and yes, it's just harassment. Period.
There you go. Thank you.
Why? What's
Well, I do have a video going up tonight about Dan Schneider. That's all I'm going to say.
Hold on, we'll get to him in a second. All right, and I'll read.
You do want to talk about him? Wow.
Yeah, because it's interesting. So I'm reading to you from the actual the policy in place, the law. It says sexual harassment includes unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. Examples
like foot fetish.
Whatever. Examples of hostile work environments. Sexual harassment include making offensive sexual comments or jokes, discussions about sex, and the display of sexually oriented materials. Yes, if you asking somebody to show you their feet, especially if it's of the opposite sex, that could be considered. It's harassment. What do you want to see my feet for?
Because this is why Dan Schneider comes into play.
This guy Dan Schneider. Tell the audience who Dan Schneider is.
Well, all right. I figured I might as well.
Fatso?
Well, he is fat, yes, but basically Dan Schneider is this big-time Hollywood producer. He's affiliated with Nickelodeon. You may know him from iCarly, Victorious, Drake and Josh, all those good shows from the 2000s.
You're younger than me, very much younger than me, so you know him by that. And the older people in the audience will know this. There was a show in the 80s on ABC called Head of the Class. It was about a New York City high school, about special gifted students, and Dan Schneider was one of the students. He was he was still fat back then. He looked just like he does now, and he was like the computer nerd who was always making smart aleck remarks. And that's I didn't even know who this guy was until I saw his picture. I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Head of the Class.
I didn't know that. Wow. Because the earliest I've known Dan Schneider was from All That.
No, he's been in he started in the 80s. He was in little what you call it. He was in series. He was always in like little series.
Well, again, from my first Dan Schneider experience, it goes back to all that and the Amanda.
Yeah, and see,
show,
it says here, the wisecracking cynic Dennis Bludden, played by Dan Schneider, who was a computer whiz who more often than not had a knack for getting the socially inept Arvid involved in various schemes. Yeah, him and his geeky computer friend. There was this guy. He was an actor. He had the worst acting you'd ever seen, with big glasses, and that was the real guy. So it's crazy.
Oh.
But see,
well,
that's what I'm saying. Now, how long was Dan Schneider producing shows for Nickelodeon?
Well, I mean, if you want to go that back, I researched it, and I remembered it very well, that he was in the 1997 hit movie Good Burger with Kel Mitchell and Kenan Thompson.
Yeah.
That's the earliest I could remember, besides all that.
I got it in front of me. This guy, he's been writing and producing television series, and especially with Nickelodeon, and since 1988. Schneider co-hosted the second annual Nickelodeon's Kids Choice Awards, and he's been writing episodes for All That, The Amanda Show in 2001. I mean, this guy, and yeah, he was the executive producer and writer for Kenan and Kel. So there you go, from 1996.
Right.
So this guy,
I love that show.
Okay, so listen, this is what I'm saying. This is the MO. These guys, like I said, these people have been in these positions for 20 years, over 20 years. Now, all of a sudden, don't you see? All of a sudden, now, in the last few months of 2017, now all these accusations are coming out. Since Harvey Weinstein came out, everybody's going down.
In a general perspective, yes. Keep that in mind. And again, Al Franken, before he was a senator, was, of course, a comedian. I remember that.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned it last week. Al Franken. I remember Al Franken used to be on Saturday Night Live.
I remember that.
He was
in
in
the early 2000s.
No, well, the early 2000s. Are you? What are you drinking, Andrew? He was in the 80s. In the 80s. In the 80s. Mid 80s, Al Franken was on SNL cast member, and you know what I remember him for? He wasn't funny. He was never funny. He was one of the unfunniest people on Saturday Night Live.
And why was he on NBC then?
I don't know. Just because.
All right, so it's 8:15, everyone.
Yeah. All right, listen. All right, so let's go over very quickly. It's time for the Andrew's NFL picks.
Well, I need to say that I ruined Alabama last week. That's all I'm going to say.
Whatever. I don't know what you're talking. All right. So last week you started off at 1920, and all right. So you had Minnesota over the Lions. Minnesota, you covered Minnesota 30-23 over Detroit. That's a win. Baltimore defeated the Texans 23-16, but you lost because it was a tie. The Ravens -7, so that's a tie. That's a loss. You had the Rams over the Saints, and that's a win.
That's a win.
The Rams beat you. Covered the Rams 26-20 over the Saints. You had Pittsburgh -14 over the Packers, and that's a loss. As Pittsburgh only won 31-28. And then you had the New England Patriots -16 over Miami. They covered 35-17. That's a win. So you went 3-2 last week. And it brings your overall record to 22-22. So go ahead, 2-minute warning. Go ahead.
All right, let's get the soundbite ready.
And Andrew, for the audience who even is paying attention this week, Andrew now has substituted an NFL pick with a college game. I guess it's the bowl games are coming up. So go ahead.
All right, and I quickly want to mention I'm 22-23 because Alabama lost. All right.
Well, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Oh, good. Frank's going to give me an exemption. Yay!
That's 5 picks. And now this week, you're picking Auburn. All
right. Here we go. All right. So here we go. It's week 13 in the NFL. Now, before I go to the 4 NFL games that have meaning, I'm going to quickly mention that this is the weekend of the College Conference Championship games. To be fair to the audience, I am only going to pick one game that interests me this week, and that is Auburn taking on Georgia for the SEC Championship. Georgia has a terrible, terrible offensive line. We saw it a couple weeks ago back when Georgia played Auburn. I think Auburn's defense is going to help them.
All right, come on, Andrew, what are you doing? Play breakdown? Come on, let's go.
Auburn's defense will help them win -2.5, and Georgia's crappy offensive line will once again fail. All right, on to the NFL. My Baltimore Ravens are supposed to finish 4-1, so this is how the journey will start to the playoffs. This week, they will beat the Detroit Lions -3 points at home at M&T Bank Stadium. Now on to a potential playoff matchup. We have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Minnesota Vikings. This one is -3 points versus the Minnesota Vikings. I have a lock of the week. I am going with the Los Angeles Chargers -13 to beat the Cleveland Browns. And the Sunday night game, I am going with the Philadelphia Eagles -5.5 to beat the Seahawks. I believe the Seahawks are on a terrible collapse, and this will give the Falcons momentum to grab the second wild card spot. I believe Philadelphia will win out the rest of the season and definitely lock up the first spot in the NFC.
All right, so that's it. You're good, Andrew?
Yeah, because the thing is, I wanted to get rid of Saints-Panthers because, it might be – I might get that one wrong. But I know taking the L.A. Chargers is a safe bet this week.
All right. And, of course –
because they're playing the winless Cleveland Browns. Of course I had to do that.
In New York over here yesterday, there was a firestorm that Eli Manning, the Giants quarterback, got benched.
And yes, in that spread, Oakland's favored -7.
What's that?
I said in the spread for that game, Oakland's favored -7.
Now, Andrew, you were upset that they benched Eli Manning?
Honestly, I feel, and this is my honest opinion about this, I believe it's nothing to get upset over about.
No, but I'm saying all the fans in the media, they went crazy. They called the Giants disgrace about the streak, and you can't blame Eli. I think maybe everybody's missing the point. Maybe the Giants are trying to tank the rest of the season so they can get at least a number 3 pick.
That's what I was trying to say. If they can go 2-14, that will get them a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
Now the problem is, will it get them a quarterback? That's the question that needs to be determined in the mock drafts coming up in the next couple months.
All right, very good, Andrew. That's enough NFL talk for today.
Come on.
All right. So of course, what would the news be without Trump, Andrew? Have you been following Trump this week?
Yes, I have been following Donald Trump. Of course, I follow Donald Trump.
Yeah,
even though Dan Snyder's been fascinating me.
Yes, he's very fascinating fat man, fat sexual
Trump.
So we'll at 8:30 we'll talk. We'll have more Trump news stories. So yesterday in the White House, Trump honored Cherokee. Was it Cherokee? Code breakers from World War II. Did you see that?
I figured we'll talk about Elizabeth Warren.
Yes. So, and he again, Trump, even though Elizabeth Warren, who falsely claimed to be a Native American, but I don't know why Trump would bring this up, and one of the two honorees. What is that, Andrew? Oh my God, this guy's the worst. Anyway, here's the clip.
Navajo code talkers. These are the Native Americans who used their little-known language to help the United States military relay messages during World War II so that the enemy couldn't figure out what the heck they were saying because nobody knew what language they were speaking. So these veterans today are in their 90s, and they were being honored at the White House yesterday for their patriotism when President Trump said this.
And I just want to thank you because You're very, very special people. You were here long before any of us were here. Although we have a representative in Congress who they say was here a long time ago. They call her Pocahontas. But you know what? I like you because you are special.
Now, these guys obviously didn't get the joke. They don't know that he's talking about Senator Elizabeth Warren, and they may not even know who she is because, well, she's that insignificant to their lives. And for those of you who don't get the joke, Senator Elizabeth Warren, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman, claimed that she was a Native American in order to get hired at Harvard University as an affirmative action hire, and was later exposed as a complete fraud because, well, I guess she says that her great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was Native American, and so that's how she identifies.
Andrew, did you know my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was the Pharaoh of Egypt?
Oh no, that
well, it flipped out, or pretended to flip out, right, Brooke?
I mean, I don't even. What do you say? That's just so not okay.
This is the top story on ABC News.
First off, President Trump and his choice of words at the White House today.
Oh, I remember this.
Heroes from World War II. They were code talkers.
Of course, I watched David
what
Muir.
He then said with them all standing there. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl tonight.
Native American heroes of World War II.
Shut up, you dumb
President
moron!
Trump
I can't stand Sean Carl.
A political foe, quote, Pocahontas.
It's a racially charged insult now.
Here's what everyone should know. Just because you say you're not racist doesn't make it so.
I'm sorry, Todd, just because you say CNN's a news network doesn't make that so.
It is deeply unfortunate that the President of the United States cannot even make it through a ceremony honoring these heroes without having to throw out a racial slur.
Oh, it's a racial
Donald
slur
Trump
now.
does this over and over.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but I guarantee you that after this event, when the Navajo Code Talkers' children or grandchildren explained the joke to them, that they all found it absolutely hilarious.
First of all, Elizabeth Warren, she's either a phony, she's either a real phony or she's a moron. She's the one who went around saying that the story is that she saw a picture on her fireplace of her great-great-grandfather who had high cheekbones. This is why she claimed that she was a Cherokee, is because she saw a picture of her great-great-grandfather who had high cheekbones, and her mother said, yeah, your grandmother had high cheekbones too. So that's racist in itself. And plus, Elizabeth Warren, she's the one who falsely said she was a Native American. So,
Frank.
Again, more trying to blame Trump. And that one of those code breakers, he actually gave an interview and said he wasn't offended by Pocahontas. He just didn't get the joke. And he said that even in World War II, the Marines, when they jumped out, they would jump out of the planes, they would scream Geronimo. So all this crap against Trump, again, I mean, I'm not Trump's lawyer, but it's all fake moral outrage.
And again, this is why my conspiracy theory about Elizabeth Warren winning the 2020 Democratic primary is going to become true. Because then it helps Donald Trump get 4 more years.
Listen, listen, I've been saying that. If I didn't know any better, I would say that all this is set up to make everything going on is set up to make Donald Trump win again. Because I mean, these people are just morons. It's just.
I'm not the biggest Donald Trump supporter, but I will say this: is that for the sake of the country, we don't need a liberal being president for at least another 7 or 6 years.
Listen. Nobody in 2015, 2016. Not too many people would have thought of Trump as president, right?
I was expecting Ted Cruz.
Well, whoever. I was expecting Jeb Bush. I told you that's who I think the plan was. But just look at all these candidates. The alternatives. They're all trash,
including Ted Cruz.
He's not presidential material. I mean, come on. During the Republican primaries, he got he got roasted by Trump. He was just listen to be president. You have to have certain intangibles. Okay, Trump has those intangibles. He
exactly.
He's
a good manipulator. He's always manipulated people.
I wouldn't say manipulated, but he's been a lifelong businessman, and he knows how to get things done. Listen, he didn't get to where he is today by having people hate him. Okay, he's very well liked. He makes people a lot of money. He makes a lot of money, and that's it. In that world of billionaires, everybody hangs together because you make money with each other. You understand?
Exactly, and I'll still thank him for building the infrastructure around Midtown Manhattan. He was part of it.
Well, he gets things done. He gets projects. He has gotten projects built in Manhattan, and look, so far he's delivered on the economy. I mean,
by the way, did you hear that there's somebody said on the Huffington Post that Trump made racist comments back in the 90s about Native Americans and owning casinos.
Oh yeah, that was it wasn't racist comments. He actually went to court over that because he felt that because of I don't know if you know this, Andrew, because of what the United not the United States, but what's happened to the Native Americans when they got pretty much taken off their land as reparations. They don't pay taxes, and they are allowed. They own pretty much a lot of casinos, the Native Americans. So, and they don't pay taxes. So it was a dispute.
Well, they should be paying taxes.
No, you can't do that. They because they got their land robbed. That's the reparations. But it.
Okay, I get it.
In that case, I think Trump did win that case. And it was him versus these Native American casino owners, and it was his competition. And he felt he wasn't getting a fair shake because they didn't pay. They were Native American. They didn't pay taxes.
Oh, the casinos in Atlantic City.
Yeah, right. The Native Americans, I told you, are allowed to own the casinos. They have direct links. So
in Connecticut, yeah.
Everywhere in America.
Oh, not just Connecticut.
Yeah, if you go to what the hell are you called?
Mohegan Sun.
Yeah, and there's other places where Native Americans, they sell cigarettes and they don't pay taxes, so you can get it for cheaper. But there's not that many Native Americans left in the United States, you know.
Oh, exactly, and I feel bad for them.
Well, that's why they don't pay taxes, Andrew, and that's why they get special privileges as retribution, as a payback. But anyway, yeah,
8:30.
Yeah, it's 8:30. All right, so let's. If you want to start the news, we have more. Let's just get into the news and read the stories, Andrew. Go ahead.
Okay, tonight's top story: Matt Lauer, who has been grabbing the headlines all day. Matt Lauer today was fired by NBC. Today he was accused by a colleague of sexual harassment, and recently this afternoon, more women have come forward. As the co-host of NBC's Today Show, Matt Lauer once gave a colleague a sex toy as a present, and included an explicit note about how he wanted to use it on her, which left her mortified.
Come on, now listen. That's sick. I mean, if that is true, that's sick. I mean, he basically gave a dildo to a colleague as a present and wrote.
I'm already imagining the color.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, and he wrote a note saying how he wanted to fuck her with it. Come on, that's sick. Why? But see, that's what I'm saying. Why did this woman just come out now? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know. Right.
You know what I picture? If I ever did that to somebody at my job, I would picture that the woman would fucking slap the shit out of me, or have a boyfriend meet me after work and beat me up. Not wait 10 years. I don't know. Go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead. Continue with the story. I'm sorry.
Okay, so here's the important part.
No, come on. Read the story. Don't skip. Read the story.
You want me to read the whole thing?
Yes, read. We have a lot of time, Andrew.
All right, I'll read the whole thing then. I don't care.
Tell the
On
audience.
another day, he summoned a different female employee to his office and then dropped his pants, showing her his penis. There we go. After the employee declined to do anything visibly shaken, he reprimanded her for not engaging in a sexual act.
So he summons a different female employee to his office, and he pulls out his drawers and wants the woman to give him oral sex. So I mean, come on, who? I mean, listen again. What did I say? I take these accusations seriously, but why did these women just wait? Is it? They're all these women are so scared of their jobs that they don't say anything. Come on, go ahead, continue.
I need to get a Matt Lauer tape next week.
Well, okay,
that's all I'm going to say. We'll work on it if possible. He would sometimes quiz female producers about who they'd slept with, offering to trade names. And he loved to engage in a crass quiz game with men and women in the office. Oh, man, this is so graphic. But since the FCC is not regulating this show...
What's so wrong about it? There's a game...
I'm going to say it! It's called F, Marry, or Kill.
Oh, you don't have to say that. You can say F, Marry, Kill.
Yeah, but we're not... This is internet radio. Who cares?
All right.
All right. In which he would identify the female co-host that he most liked to sleep with.
All right, that's not so bad. I mean, that isn't so bad. I mean... But maybe if you can't do it, you can't play the game with the contestants being people in your office. I mean, if you want to play the game in the office, maybe you could talk about it with make it about celebrities or something like that. You know?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So today, the official word from NBC. They announced officially on their today's news program their competition for Good Morning America.
Yeah, and you know what? And this is
that he was fired from NBC News.
Yeah, this morning I explained that at the top of the hour. Now, I mean, was this a convenient excuse to get rid of him because maybe the Today Show ratings are tanking?
Can I say this? You know what's so creepy about this news today? I just saw him on the Macy's telecast last week.
Yeah,
Isn't that messed up?
Yeah.
Why did they fire him last week?
I listen. This is what I'm saying. Is this now an excuse to fire people over the ratings? And I don't know. I'm trying to look up the ratings to see if they're doing good. I can't find them.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
No, the Today Show.
Oh, all right. Because it is a good. I get a lot of people who watch.
I bet you he's making a lot of money. I bet you.
$25 million he made every year.
Oh yeah. So look at that. That's big. That's big. You don't think that's a lot of money?
That is a lot of money.
It says, according to page 6, Lara and NBC agreed to a contract that would pay him $20 million a year through 2018. Forbes estimated Lara's salary to be $25 million. Other sites have pegged Lara's net worth around $60 million. All right, whatever. This guy's making a lot of money. And that other one, Megyn Kelly, she's getting paid over $10 million, and she's done nothing for NBC. I mean,
how come I saw her at 9 o'clock this morning on NBC?
Yeah, they're giving her. She went from Fox News to talking politics. Then she did that. They gave her that interview show where she interviewed Putin, Alex Jones, and who else was it? Trump. And the show tanked. They had to take it off the air. You got three of the. Look at those three guests.
And now she's on at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, now she's doing basically she's trying to be the white Oprah.
I don't know anymore what these lip.
No, listen,
I just don't know.
Yeah, it's they pay these talents, these on-air talents, millions and millions of dollars a year, and the NBC or whoever the networks are, they're not getting a return. You know, they need. To justify these salaries, they need these shows to get high ratings. Listen, they could put me and you on at 9 o'clock. and pay us $100,000.
Well, I would love to be on NBC at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Who wasn't? But she commands a salary. Anyway, go ahead. Continue with the story, Andrew.
All right. So, the cause of his dismissal today, according to sources, was a detailed complaint from another current NBC employee about inappropriate sexual conduct from Matt Lauer that started on a trip to the Sochi Olympics back in 2014 and continued for several months.
Several months.
And you know what's so odd about 2014? I was literally in my job training to become a janitor at New York Hospital Queens. Isn't that nuts? All this was happening.
That ties into the story so much, Andrew. I can't.
That's how 2014 had a lasting effect.
That was the big highlight of the year. So listen again. This is crazy, and it goes on to say that this morning, NBC News chairman Andy Lack said this was the first complaint about his behavior in over 20 years. But he acknowledged it may not be the last because, of course, they know more. Once one comes out, more women are coming forward. But this is what I'm saying. Why, if you would believe this guy, Chairman Andy Lack, this came out of left field. You don't think this guy? There was rumors or whispers going on in NBC. A guy in his position, you don't think he knows everything that's going on, or you don't think anybody whispered in his ear, "Hey, that guy Matt Lauer, we got to be careful with him. He's you got to hear what he did at the Christmas party. He pulled down his pants. He wanted
he forced his tongue down someone else's throat.
No, not even.
By the way, did you happen to watch? Are you an Alex Jones fan?
Yeah, I follow him. What about him?
Well, I saw this interesting video he showed today of Katie Couric saying that Matt Lauer liked to grab butts.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing. Then these old clips come out about how their colleagues or people joke about it or kind of bring it up, and it goes under the radar. Listen, again,
I remember this is Katie Couric. She's a powerhouse.
Well, yeah.
Remember that?
Well, yeah, no, she's got clout, but I mean, again, so Andrew, good, you proved me right. So you mean to tell me that this guy, the news chairman of NBC, Andy Lack, you mean to tell me he never even heard a whisper when it came out during the day that even Megyn Kelly said, "Oh yeah, I heard there was rumors about Matt Lauer." So, I mean, if this guy, Andy Lack, never heard anything about it, he's either incompetent or he's lying, and maybe he should be fired because he's a supervisor over this.
Well, I'm sorry, but now because of this story, I have lost all faith and credibility in NBC News. I really have.
But Andrew, you're missing the point. It's not just NBC News. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next month, it'll be ABC News.
It better not be David Muir. It better not be him.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I've been saying for the most of the show. What's going on? Why now? All of a sudden, now it's like becoming. This is like the ice bucket challenge now. All of a sudden, everybody's doing it.
Oh, so you mean to tell me I could sexually accuse someone right now?
No, well, it doesn't work with the man against the female. It works with the female against the male. Listen, if you're out there, if anybody's listening, if you're working in an office or whatever, listen. Don't do any. Don't even. I would even talk to a female. If I was a man, don't even talk to a female employee without somebody else being present. Okay.
Oh yes, definitely.
Or make sure there's a camera somewhere that's recording everything. I mean, this is what it's come down to our society.
Well, again, this is part of the 21st century lifestyle now.
At least
really has become that way.
So now, the only thing different that stands out about this case with Matt Lauer is, one, they fired him immediately, and
which was the right thing to do. And the crazy thing is, I first find out about the story when I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and 10 breaks it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, number one, I'm sure they fired him right away because now they get out of that contract. They just saved themselves $25 million for next year. And
at least then next year, Macy still has the agreement with NBC to do the fireworks and then the Thanksgiving Day parade next year.
Yeah, so just like his counterparts who've been accused sexually, who now contest it, or like Al Frankenstein, he says he's not leaving, or the other guy, Kanye. This is ridiculous. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next story. Enough about sexual harassment.
All right, so tonight we have two major important stories involving President Trump.
I'm Donald Trump.
The first one tonight is the videos I've seen today on his Twitter feed, and seeing his Twitter feed's fun. I'm just going to say that. But anyhow, follow him at Real Donald Trump. Today, the president was wrong to share anti-Muslim videos posted by a far-right UK group, Downing Street said today. Furious MPs insisted to the president that was not welcome here following the Twitter post. But 10 said his invite to Britain on a state visit still stands.
All right, so listen, real fast. I'll set it up for the audience. Trump today, I think he retweeted 3 or 4 videos, and one of them was
I saw all 3 of them.
These news outlets who today are saying, "Oh, Trump is wrong." It was purported to be. They're saying he retweeted a right wing, a far right wing news site, whatever. I think maybe all these, a couple of those videos were old, meaning from last year or 2015. There was one where there's a roof and there's people on the roof and there's ISIS members, and how could you say they're ISIS? They're flying the fucking flag. The guy, and they beat somebody up and they threw somebody off the roof, and this is nothing new of ISIS. There's been videos before of ISIS throwing gay people off roofs, and then he retweeted another one of what looked like an old video of ISIS member or Muslim person breaking a statue of the Virgin Mary. That's old. I think maybe old, but go ahead, Andrew.
All right, so here we go. Storm over the post, first shared by Britain's first deputy leader, deepened as the widow of murdered MP Joe Cox accused him of spreading hatred.
Oh, he's spreading hatred. He's spreading hatred. He's the one who threw somebody off the roof. And there was another one where there was a video of it looked like a Muslim teenager beating up another kid, a Muslim teenager from the Netherlands who was on crutches. Trump is spreading the hatred. It's not he's beating up people on crutches. He's breaking statues of the Virgin Mary.
Well, first of all, the one with the statue of Mary, the guy was speaking freaking Arabic.
That's an old. Listen, the worst thing you could say is that 2 or 3 of the 4 videos were old, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I don't understand Arabic. The only thing I understand is Allahu Akbar.
That video of the guy breaking a statue of the Virgin Mary, that was from I think 2 years ago in Syria.
Oh, jeez.
Hate. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, now
love to use that word.
Yeah, because you know why? Probably in England or in certain countries in Europe, if me or you did that, you could get arrested probably for retweeting those videos. Because God forbid, you don't want to.
See, this is why I'm relieved I don't live in a socialist country.
Yeah,
this is the reason why.
Listen, those Western Europe is doomed. Germany, France.
This is why I'm hoping they'll have a nationalist revolt eventually.
I don't know what they're going to do, but
Germany's close.
Let me tell you, the next step in those countries is where the Gestapo comes to your house and arrests you for talking or retweeting or posting a video, and then they throw you in the gulag. And you never. Yeah, that's the Soviet Union. They used to have the political prisons where they would come in the middle of the night, the police, and they would arrest you in the middle of the night, and you would disappear for years, and they would never seen again.
All right. Well, now I'm understanding why. All right.
And they want to do that. They want to do that here. That's what they want to do here. That's what they're trying to do with the hate speech. When you hear about in the campuses, people can't even talk at a campus because it's hate speech.
And liberals love to use big words.
And that's And what do you call hate speech? That's their definition of hate speech. Hate speech, in their definition, is anything that opposes their view, and just like all these articles saying, Trump retweeted a far right UK group. Says who? What's a far right? What's far right in your definition?
Well, that's not far right.
No,
but I will say this: Islam again is a very dangerous religion. You have to be very careful with it.
Listen, it's not that it's a dangerous religion. It's not. We live here in New York City. There's about a million. I would say it's probably a million Muslim residents in New York City. They've been here for a long time. I remember in my neighborhood there was Muslims. I always got along great with them. Good families. They always work hard. It's not that. It's the type of people that are going into Europe from these third world countries who have no education. All these people know is how to fight and kill and rape, and that's the problem. It's not the religion.
That's what Sharia law practices.
Yeah, that's an extreme form, but I don't know. All right, so I mean, yeah. So to blame Trump for spreading hate, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of.
Again, Trump can tweet whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's not like he is it's not like he, and even like that's like, hey, what about next week if they show ISIS beheading somebody and Trump retweets that? Is he spreading hate? Is he the one who's cutting people's heads off?
No.
Right. No, I know, Andrew. But these socialist liberals in Western Europe, they don't want. They try to protect the Muslims, so people over there won't rebel against these migrants invading their country.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next story because this is getting to become a headache.
Yeah.
Here's good news. Yeah. Today, President Trump promised bigger tax cuts than Reagan today at a speech he gave in Missouri. Ahead of the Senate's expected vote on the GOP tax bill this week, President Trump promoted the tax overhaul legislation in a speech delivered today in which he promised bigger than Reagan tax cuts. He said that the Senate proposed tax legislation which will provide the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, bigger than Ronald Reagan, today at a speech in St. Charles, Missouri, the state where President Trump's tax tour began. In the speech, the president promised that the Republican tax plan would benefit a wide spectrum of Americans within the working class and middle class, but assured that the plan will not be good for him personally. And I'm going to quote the president. "This is going to cost me a fortune, this thing, believe me." But the crowd laughed, and then he repeated it. "This is not good for me. I have some wealthy friends not so happy with me, but that's okay. You know I keep hearing Schumer, this is for the wealthy. Well, if it is, my friends don't know about it." Mr. Trump also praised the economic growth the country has seen under his administration, not to mention, again, our stocks are doing terrific, and commended the House of Representatives for its passage of the tax overall bill. He says he believes the Senate's version will be popular with the American people.
Yes. And also, did you read this past Monday, Cyber Monday? It was a record-setting Cyber Monday. They grossed over $6.5 billion.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Do you do your shopping online, Andrew?
I tried to, but I didn't have any online codes.
Right. Listen, you can say what you want. there's a correlation between Trump being elected president and the economy going strong. The day after November 9th, he got elected, the stock market went crazy and did good. And it's been going good ever since he got elected. The switch got turned on. It's confidence, because Hillary,
and more importantly, housing has been doing very well this year. People are not talking about it, but it's a very underrated story.
Yes. Listen, hopefully, like I said,
that's foreclosures this year.
Presidents, I told you, Andrew, presidents are judged on two things historically: the economy and foreign policy. So far, Trump is getting at least an A- in the economy. All right, let's move on to another story.
I love these foreign trips. He's doing a pretty good job with them.
Listen, he knows most of these people already. He's known most of these leaders already, Andrew. These leaders, these foreign leaders, they stay in his hotels. They buy apartments in the Trump Towers. He knows most of these people already. That's what I'm saying. He knows most of these people.
All right, so the main thing is two takeaways before I move on to the next article. Senator Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi were invited yesterday, but what happened was they declined to meet President Trump at the White House yesterday, so there's that factor. The main takeaway from the tax code will include this. The tax plan from the Senate will eliminate the Obamacare mandate to get insurance. That means you will not have to legally pay a tax anymore under this bill to try to get insurance. Middle class and working class people will receive a tax cut. Married couples will not be taxed on their first $2,400 earned. The child tax credit will be increased. Middle class families will see their incomes go up by an average of $4,000. The corporate tax rate will be lowered from a rate of 35% to 20%.
I mean, listen, you say $4,000. It doesn't sound like much, but trust me. If I gave you $4,000 at the end of the month next week, you'd take it, wouldn't you?
Oh, in New York, I definitely would take it, especially with all the taxes that are coming to me.
Right. All right, let's go, Andrew. Let's read the story about the robots.
Well, I figured we might as well read this.
Come on,
because Alex Jones is warning us about this. As many as 800 billion workers worldwide may lose their jobs to robots and automation by 2030, equivalent to more than a fifth of today's global labor force. That's according to a new report covering 46 nations and more than 800 occupations by the research arm of McKinsey & Company. The consulting company said today that both developed and emerging countries will be impacted. Machine operators, fast food workers, and back office employees are among those who will be most affected if automation spreads quickly through the workplace.
All right, and funny enough, this also ties into my field of study in human resources. Listen, there's going to be a transfer. It's going to happen gradually. It's not going to happen overnight. People shouldn't be afraid of this. Just maybe your job will be different. That's all. And if you're a millennial now, or if you're in school, you better get your education. I mean, even your generation, Andrew, you can't do much without at least a high school diploma or at least an associate's degree these days.
Well, I do have a high school diploma.
Well, yeah, I mean, you need that. I mean, that is your ticket. All these things are tickets to the next to get you a higher degree. And what you say, and people say, "Oh, what do you need all these education and this for?" All it is credentials, and degrees are credentials. And my point is, it's in the coming years, there's going to be growing competition where a bachelor's degree is going to be the new high school diploma. You understand?
It's going to be a lot of competition.
Sure. Now everybody's going to college now. Everybody's going to have a bachelor's degree. High school, just having a high school diploma is just not going to cut it anymore. But these automation. Listen, if you go back 100 years ago, people were afraid back then when the steam engine came out and the Industrial Revolution came. That replaced the horse and carriage. Instead of 100 people doing the work, they would get 10 people to do the work now with the machines, and so forth and so on. That's going to happen. You know, but you know what, Andrew, there is technology where there's computers and robots who are going to be performing surgeries. They're doing it now. Did you know that?
I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
No, they're doing it right now. There's some hospitals.
Whoa! Time out. I thought that was supposed to happen like 5 or 10 years from now.
Well, no. What it is the surgeon controls the robot right now. He controls the robot because we're using computer technology and the robot arm. It's more precision. It's but listen, in the future. The computers are going to get so smart and so powerful that they're going to be able to do the surgery themselves, and probably better than a regular surgeon. So I wouldn't be too afraid of it. Anyway, so we'll close up again. The last story, Andrew, I put up was the pedophile director embraced by Hollywood. He was the director of Jeepers Creepers. You ever seen that movie?
No. Is he actually being accused?
No, he is convicted. In 1986, Salva's 35-minute short, Something in the Basement, impressed for Coppola. He became a producer. This guy, during the filming, it says he molested a sixth grader who was underage. She was underage. He pleaded to 5 felony counts. He 5 felony counts, lewd and lascivious conduct, oral copulation with a person under 14, and 3 counts of procuring a child for pornography. He was sentenced to 3 years, and this is what he says, Andrew. He was imprisoned, and he says he was allegedly beaten beyond recognition, and he told the San Jose Mercury News that I was never more scared or close to death than I was in prison. I received no therapy there. We feel sorry for you. Pedophiles get beat up in jail. Okay, Andrew, read the plugs.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Follow me on Twitter at Andy's Randomness. Follow Frank at EAZZ34.
All right. So thanks, Andrew. We got through another show. And thank you, audience. And we'll see you next week live, 8 p.m., same time, same channel. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Vagina!
Second up! Never expected up! 2 + 2 = 4 - 1 = 3, that's my nuts!